dealing with what civilians have to put up with in the vacuum of somebody being around to protect them. We're on our own. And I don't want to do it with a 2-shot Derringer or even that poor Georgia woman's 6-shot revolver. I want a real gun to be able to protect myself and my family, because it's not just likely to be one roving bad guy. It's likely to be a gang of people. And this is not Marquis to Queensberry. This is the real world where we're going to need sufficient firepower to protect ourselves.
Oh, I think you have sufficient firepower, Mr. Pratt, because, of course, you have 300 million guns in circulation. That is why. And I want to read these statistics to you carefully, because I heard you this morning talking to Alex Jones, who I had on early in the week, and we'll play some more from him a bit later. And you were talking about these figures from Britain and how apparently the gun control in Britain has been a fiasco and crime has been through the roof, etc., etc. So I actually dug out the official figures. These are the homicide figures from guns in England and Wales by comparison to the United States of America going back to 2003. And I'm going to read these quickly to you, because I think they make a point on their own. 2003, gun murders in England and Wales, 68. In America, 11,920. In 2004, 73, England and Wales. In America, 11,624. In 2005, 50 in England and Wales. In America, 12,352. And so it goes on, about the same levels in both countries.
Now,
let me finish. Here's my point. Every time I hear you say that there is a safer country where you have more guns, my brain takes me back to these figures, because in Britain we brought in as you know, a handgun and assault weapon ban after what happened at Dunblane, where a very similar number of school children were murdered with guns. This is the result of what happens when you take a responsible action to respond to a massacre beyond any kind of comprehension. Why do you still persist in trying to persuade Americans that the complete opposite is true?
Well, first of all, according to your investigature of the constabulary, the data that you're using for the murder rate in England is a sham. There's a monumental misreporting of what constitutes murder. If 3 people are murdered, it's likely to be counted as one event.
What an absolute lie. That is an absolute...
That's what you say when you don't know what you're talking about.
But let me tell you, it doesn't take very long. Mr. Pratt, it doesn't take very long to count 50 gun murders.
These are your own
How long do you think
data.
it takes
Go tell the constabulary of Britain that they're lying.
50
you
bodies
ask
a year?
them for an apology. Why don't you?
So you are telling me that 50 murders a year, 59, these are simply invented statistics. And in fact, the figures in Britain for gun murders are many more times that, yeah? That's what you're saying.
Exactly what your own constabulary is saying. Actually, I don't know that you included in your litany the Cumbria murders that occurred well after the gun ban, in which 12 people were murdered.
Let's
I admit,
multiply
I had to look up where Cumbria is, but it happens to be on the west coast of England.
Yeah, don't be patronising. 50 murders in 2005, 41 2009, 39 in 2011.
No, you had 970. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is complete nonsense, Mr. Pratt.
You're from another planet, Mr. Morgan.
So you are stating,
and that's why you're having trouble living in America.
You are telling me on CNN that we had how many gun murders last year?
970, and you have a violent crime rate that is the 4th highest of any country in the world.
You have just propagated an absolute lie.
Well, then go tell the editors...
2011, there were 39 gun murders in England and Wales.
Go tell the editors of The Telegraph, who published just that information 2 days after our last interview.
Mr. Pratt, there were 39 gun murders in England and Wales in 2011.
You're whistling past the graveyard.
No, what you're doing is deliberately lying, deliberately twisting it, so that Americans watching this who may be tempted to buy in to your ludicrous fear game rush out tomorrow and buy more weapons and more ammunition. Because you know what? More guns, less gun crime, less gun murders. It is a fallacy. It is based on lies. You've just propagated another lie. You've just said that a figure of 39, the official figures from the British Home Office, 39 gun murders in 2011 in England and Wales. You have added a naught to that and then trebled it. It's outrageous.
I'm sure you're going to feel so much better You'll feel so much better being defenseless until you need a gun. And then it'll be a little too late to buy your insurance policy.
Let's take a break, Mr. Pratt. Let's come back and talk more about this. Try and stick, if you can, to facts and not lies. That would be very helpful for the tenor of this debate.